Hello, y'all. Hello, y'all. Good afternoon. I have something here from a righteous perspective. With that being said, let's get into it.
Now, I am so glad to see this. There are people that were part of the 92%. There were other liberals out there that are just saying, I'm done. I can't be associated with this party anymore. I wanted to highlight these people because hopefully it will encourage others. Hopefully you will share this video with your liberal family members so they can maybe, some kind of way get the courage to leave the wicked Democratic Party. Like, share, subscribe to the channel. Let's get into it.
Who is a Republican debater, and we met debating. I ended up sitting in on his lives, not to debate, but just as support for my friend. And I would listen to what these liberals had to say and Democrats had to say. And for the most part, I was like, yeah, I agree with that. Until people started saying things that were a little bit crazy, outlandish, like, we are definitely in WW3 right now, like stuff like that. And I was like, what makes you think that? I remember telling this one guy, like, I'm a liberal, I'm on your side, but I'm just wondering why you think that, because it's not happening. And immediately was told I'm a racist, and in the same breath told I don't belong in this country, and I'm not welcome in this country. Look at my last name. This happened 3 more times on the live with separate people, separate days. And I was just like really taken back because I explained to these people, like, I'm also a liberal, because I kind of thought, like, we're all liberals, we're all Democrats, like, we're supposed to be on the same side. I was just asking a question. I went to tell my family member about it.
You can't ask questions.
Oh, she didn't get the memo. You're not allowed to ask questions in the Democratic Party. You're not allowed to ask questions. You're not allowed to challenge anything.
And it ended up in a yelling match and them telling me to get the F out of their house, which was really confusing. I was surprised by that behavior. I was really taken back, more so by the fact that I used to behave that way. I would act that way when anybody questioned me about anything. I went ballistic, and I realized that I was behaving the same way that I was being treated, and I was like, why is this happening? That was kind of the last straw for me. I decided to start doing my own research into things and found that a lot of the things that people were saying were really over-exaggerated or just completely not true. A lot of it was fear-mongery, like, really bad. And it made me think, like, if this stuff isn't true, like, I've been sitting here believing that I'm gonna die because I'm disabled, and I thought my healthcare was gonna get, like, ripped away from me before this big beautiful bill stuff, which, like I said, it's not gonna get taken away from people who are disabled, and I'm not arguing about that in the comments. Read S71119 in the big beautiful bill. Anyways, I really thought that I was in so much danger. Oh my god. But no. And I was telling my husband, like, I'm really not doing good. Like, I'm starting to get really upset about things, and I'm not thinking rationally, and, like, I just don't understand what's going on, and I was, like, really not in a good headspace at all. And it was for nothing. It was really for nothing. No, I don't agree with everything that Trump is doing. I don't think that he's doing a bad job at the same time. The thing about Trump is that when he says he's going to do something, he does it, or at least he tries. And the Democrats right now are really focused on this campaign about just hating Trump, and they're not focused on anything about, like, what they're going to do for the Democrats.
That's it right there. The Democrat Party is focused on hating Trump and stopping every initiative that he wants to push in our nation. Yet they have zero solutions, and you don't know what they would actually like to do for the nation. The sooner people realize that, the better they'll be.
When I walk away from the Democratic Party video that I did, a lot of black women reached out to me in my DMs and said, hey, I want to switch over to, like, I'm done with the left, I'm done with the Democratic Party. I think 5.1 million people switched over in the last 5 days. And so I wanted to share with you the 10 positive things that's happened in my life since I left the Democratic Party. Hi, my name is Nika, not Nike. Let's do it. Number one, and the most imperative, is that I found my way back to God. Faith is no longer an accessory in my life. It is the foundation of my life. Number two, I shed the heavy cloak of oppression, depression. My spirit feels much lighter, and I don't identify with the victim mindset anymore. Number three, I now practice radical accountability. I kind of already did it, but now I really do it. If everything is my fault, then nothing can make me powerless. If everything is in my control, nothing can make me powerless. This one might be a little controversial, considering that I have a psychology background myself. I closed the doors permanently on going to therapy. I just feel like a lot of the therapists are also equally unstable. Like, we saw a lot of them came out in the last 4 days cheering the death of Charlie, which is crazy. You're a therapist. And so I feel like they love having you in therapy because they make more money. And so now I turn to God, and I also turn to books. I'm going through anything. There's so many wisdom in the library. I just go get a book about it, and I read it. I personally would never step foot in a therapist's office ever again in my life. Number five, my mind expanded the moment I left that echo chamber behind, because when I was liberal, I would sit in this echo chamber and I would never research anything. Whatever clip I saw that's viral, I would just believe it. Whatever my friend says happening, I just believed it. And I remember the very first time I did my research about anything was 2023, and I felt so much guilt for doing research. Like, I heard Obama said something, and I was like, yes, Trump is evil. And then I was like, maybe I should just research that. It was the very I had never done that before, and I googled what he said, and it wasn't true. And I remember feeling guilty for actually researching. But now that I'm no longer in that echo chamber, my mind feels so expanded. I research everything. Everything I see online, I go straight to Google to confirm it. Life also feels calmer, and also I can save money. I can filter chaos out of my life rather quickly. I can filter my friends from the gold from the sand, because when I was liberal and I had a bunch of liberal friends, everything in their lives is always chaotic. They're always going through something. Like, every time you're talking to a liberal, they're always going through something. And also, it's nice because I don't have to pay everyone's bills anymore. I don't have to pick up the tab for everybody anymore. But I don't want a chaotic life, and I think the liberal mindset teaches you that it's okay to have a chaotic life.
Yeah, it does.
Be a victim of something.
It does keep you caged.
Something, and
The liberal mindset, unfortunately, people think that it's a free thinking mindset. I hate to tell you, it's really not a free thinking mindset. It's a mindset that keeps you caged. But the thing is, the conservative mindset can also keep you caged. So your best bet is to have a truly independent mindset.
you're a victim. Like, something, it's your, like, it's never your fault. Like, whatever's happening to you is never your fault. It's always a boogeyman that's hurting you somewhere. Next, discipline took over indulgence in my life. When I was a liberal, I was very indulgent. I just, if it feels good, I should do it, because it's a free world. And now I just feel very disciplined in my life. I believe in my faith, like the traditions of life, and I don't indulge in bad behavior anymore, and I don't indulge in fleeting feelings, like facts over feelings. Like, even if I feel it, it does not mean it's true. My respect for this country has grown exponentially. Like, I feel honored to be American. When I was liberal, I felt like it's shameful to be American, and I never understood that. Even when I was liberal, I'm like, why are we the only country that's supposed to hate being American? Every other country are proud to be American. I'm incredibly proud to be American. I love this country so much. She's given me everything good in this life, and I would never ever hurt her. I would never burn her flag. I would never speak ill of her. I would never speak down on her. I think she's absolutely beautiful, and we're very blessed and very lucky to be here. A plethora of people would switch places, to be in America and to touch the American dream. So now I feel very proud, and I don't hide the fact that I feel very proud to be American. And last but not least, I feel like I reclaimed my sanity. I feel like, especially living in Los Angeles, like, if you're a liberal, you're supposed to be mentally ill. Like, you want to be mentally ill. Like, it's cool to be mentally ill and to tell people that you're mentally ill, And now truth feels it feels solid under my feet, and I don't trade it for ideological quicksand. It's like I don't trade it for like whatever they're telling me that I need to feel today and whatever mental illness I need to possess today. And so I think that's a great thing to be able to say, like, I reject mental illness. I don't want to participate in mental illness Olympics. Leaving that woke mind virus ideology behind did not close my mind. As a matter of fact, I think it opened it exponentially. I think people who are conservatives are closed-minded, and it's not true. It's a complete opposite. We're very open-minded. I think that's what switched me over, is that I could ask as many questions as possible when I was still contemplating switching over. And you can do whatever you want as a Republican, as long as you don't put it in people's face. And so for all the young girls, apparently that video that I did went viral on YouTube.
Wow. I did not know that it was fashionable to say that you suffer from some form of mental illness. I didn't know that. But I remember watching the Jubilee clip. It was the the capitalists versus the 20 socialists or whatever it was. And there was a multitude of people there that was out in California that, said that they suffered from some form of, mental illness. I didn't know that was fashionable. But yeah, the Democrats, man, they love playing victim role. And they love to scare you into that. And the biggest thing is, and she mentioned it, it's like, hey, you start asking questions and these people will lose their minds. You're not allowed to ask questions. Deviate from the agenda. That's against the rules.
So I have officially left the Democratic Party a few days ago, and I haven't made a video about it. Really haven't told anybody besides my brother about it. And the reason I did it was because I cannot be linked and affiliated with a party that has members in it that would do exactly what happened to Charlie Kirk. Now, you could say that the shooter, the information we got from him is that he was a conservative and he came from a conservative family. True. It is true. But his family did say he's been radicalized. Regardless of his political affiliation, just like I know that I've been a Democrat for my entire adult life, and I am thinking the way that I'm thinking now, he can think of the opposite as well, regardless of him being a conservative. But somebody who would do something like that, just somebody who is just talking about free speech, conservative values, and God, obviously hates what Charlie represented, Charlie himself, the movement that he started, which is a right-wing movement. And the only other people that have called the right-wing fascists are leftists. The left, the Democratic Party, Democratic speakers, Democratic news
Please
organizations.
understand,
The right fascists for
these
years
are not my opinions.
One of his bullet
These
casings
are the opinions of those in this
fascist.
video.
For me, it was a huge move. I did it on 9/11/2025, and I registered Democrat when I first turned 18 in 2008. I voted for Obama. At the time, I did not like the wars in Afghanistan and Iraq, and Republicans and conservatives meant, for me, they meant war. And I did not want that as an 18-year-old. I did not want that. They were unjust, weapons of mass destruction. They lied. I didn't want that. And so I voted for Obama. Obama was very, very, he was a very, very good speaker. And he was also just so almost regular guyish at the time, like very, very friendly. And he was the first black president. He was young. So I voted for Obama. And since then, I voted for Democrats up until last year. Every single year. I voted for Obama several times. I voted for Biden, Hillary, Bernie. I was a huge Bernie bro. I love Bernie. Actually, Bernie was the one political cause that I really focused on. I had banners, I had flyers. I really like Bernie a lot. And the first time that I voted Republican was last year with Trump. Now, prior to last year's election, I would say right before he got his mugshot. On my For You page, I got I got a couple of videos on my For You page on TikTok, and they were of Vivek Ramaswamy and Charlie Kirk debating college students. And this led me down that rabbit hole, these videos. I was hearing the nonsense that was coming out of the college students and the common sense that was coming out, common sense which I thought everybody had. At the time, I was not political at all, because
Common sense is not common. I've learned that. I've learned that over the years.
I was trying to ignore the Biden stuff. I mean, especially the pullout out of Afghanistan. I was trying to ignore it because I wasn't happy with my vote at the time. But I was like, whatever. I'm not going to be into politics. But once I started seeing those videos, I'm like, these common sense things that I'm thinking that everybody else thinks is common sense may not be too common sense on these college campuses. And Vivek was so charismatic. I liked him a lot. And he was just speaking about so many values that I believed in at the time. But Charlie, he was a man of God. And as a man of God, for someone who was atheist at the time or agnostic at anything, it was interesting. He was my first deep dive into Christianity, really. Because he talked a lot about Bible verses and his perspective and things like that, about stuff like that. And it was new to me. So he was like my first real pastor that I was paying attention to, that was actually focusing on the things that he was saying during these debates. And then Trump almost gets assassinated. When Trump almost gets assassinated, the first time, I remember thinking that someone stopped that from happening. I just felt it. And I turned my life over to Christ at that moment. Again, already being influenced by Charlie, and I've been going to church. My wife is Christian. She was taking me to church. I was going with them in the family for a few years, so I was starting to become not atheist, but agnostic. And at that moment, I just felt in that moment there was also a string of other stuff in my personal life that made me feel like someone was watching my back. And so I became Christian. And then after seeing the debates between Trump and I was like, Trump's got to be the guy. There's no other way. Kamala got in there. I was like, no, there's no way. So I voted for Trump. Well, after what happened the last couple days and how horrible that was, my faith has told me that it's time. I cannot be affiliated with people that would spew not like this garbage and nonsense. And unfortunately, people receive some of it, and then they radicalize. I'm not saying that only radicals can come from the left. It can come from anywhere, really. But as you can see, this guy's conservative, and just recently he turned more political and now against, conservatives. So they've been looking through his computers and things like that, and they find that he's connected to a lot of left-wing stuff, a lot of fascist, anti-fascist stuff. Just like he could do that, me, who has been a Democrat, and at one point an extreme liberal. Like I was watching TYT, Cenk, Anna, now going to the point where I'm watching Candace Owens, Charlie Kirk, Ben Shapiro, a couple others.
Yeah, I don't know about
Like
watching
anybody can change their affiliation. It's your actions that dictate who you are. And the
between me and you, bro, Ben is a step too far. I'm just saying. Candace, I can watch every once in a while.
actions that happened a few days ago dictated who that person was, and it also dictated, it was the effect of what's been going around when you villainize the other side so heavily.
Shout out to this brother, man, and praise the Lord. Praise God for him for, accepting Jesus as his Lord and Savior. And I love to hear those types of stories. And it's hard to be a Christian, a follower of Christ, and support the liberal agenda of the Democratic Party. It's hard to do that. So, hope you guys enjoyed the video. An eclectic group of people giving you their why and their reason why they decided that they are no longer going to be affiliated with the Democratic Party. I am happy to see it. You're seeing more and more stories like this, and you're starting to see more and more people turn to God and, you know, open up their Bibles or open up a Bible for the first time. And, you know, it's awesome. It is truly awesome to see. And it is awesome. I want to hear from you guys in the comment section, though. Like, share, subscribe, turn the notifications on to all so you never miss an upload. And if you'd like to support the channel, consider buying your brother a coffee or join the ARP family. Links in the description box below. Come check us out Monday
And
through
that's
Friday,
it.
9:30